Alright, so I was watching some of the Pokemon Unite World Championship because I wanted to see how my boy OG was doing, and it's not looking good. So we have loser's bracket, game down, elimination match if IX does not take this one, and I've been seeing some sad stuff. We have OGwastaken still using the power-up punch, also running a couple of Machamp games. It's ugly, but now we can start breaking down the game state as to what's going on here, because like OG, just making it work on the Lucario, where other Pokemon are so weak they have to skip second A-Poms. OG, he can pick up all the A-Poms, he can find the Corphish, he always gets ahead. But what we're going to see here is actually like high-tier strategy, which is something I'm not used to with like competitive Pokemon Unite. So you can see there is development going on in the scene. But already right here, Pika getting diffed. And we can even analyze the team diff right here because we have Hoopa versus Snorlax in the support role. That's already looking really bad. Also, Mr. Mime versus Blissey. So this is kind of like setting up like, oh, you need Blissey to win because like Blissey Dragonite is unbeatable. Nah, there's ways around it. And I'm happy to see Mr. Mime getting that World's Play because it's just the best supporter since you can steal everything from your opponent, make the game unplayable, especially with Hoopa, and then you scale your carry. So the game has been going through like some weird stuff with like how jungle pathing and jungle clears are, and like sometimes 2-1-2, sometimes 1-1-3. But this is just kind of going back to November of last year, and that seems to still be the best strategy, just incorporating some of the new Pokemon. But let's take a look top. So OG's doing his thing, score trading with the Phantom, but then we're getting a quick gank from the Sylveon, and Sylveon's another Pokemon that I've been waiting to see in like coordinated 5s play, because it comes online at level 4, and then it just is always online after that, and then OGwastaken gets solo killed. What is happening? Well, that goes back to Sylveon. Like, Sylveon comes online at level 4, has maybe the strongest level 4 in the game because of that hyper voice, and then if it just keeps on scaling, it doesn't even have to hit level 9 to have a United Dreadnought that's going to melt an entire team and secure Dreadnought, and then Sylveon just takes over the game. Like, the Pokemon does not turn off, and that's why I've always considered it one of the stronger Pokemon in the game. Does it see an S tier upgrade on the tier list after this? I don't know, but it also kind of like shows, here's the strategy. Strategy is you take one camp, you go level 4 to shut down OGwastaken, and it worked. Meanwhile, Phantom is now getting free stacks, and that is terrifying. That is dangerous. A score stacked Phantom is now unkillable and also doing incredible amounts of damage to the team. So OG was still finding some scores. Like, he's got same amount of experience, just slightly behind experience. Did take jungle resources, but bot's losing. The 4v3 is losing, and it's kind of like showing how you shut down players. So Lucario taking over level 5, also finding something right there. Power punch Lucario, getting the big B, coming up to 5.5. So I mean, like, he's ahead on experience, but he's down on stacks, and the jungle pressure's all weird now, and it's power punch Lucario. So I'm wondering, like, is IX Gaming so weak? Are Nudo, Kratos, Retsu, and Pikadiff just such low-caliber players that they needed to go, okay, here's the plan. OG, you grab Power Punch, only because we need to steal first Dreadnought. You just get ahead in the top lane like you do, and then you show up and you Power Punch the objectives, and then you just drag us through this game. That really seems the only reason to run Power Punch, because it's so much weaker, and you're giving up the incredible team fighting of Lucario. Also, when you break it down, like, Mr. Mime, biggest threat, and I think you could still make extreme speed work into the Trevenant, depending on how the team fight is set up and breaks down. But now, another weird thing is, like, Lucario kind of countered by Sylveon, because Sylveon can just, like, eat the hits, and then you sweet spot it, and Lucario takes a lot of damage. And we saw that with, you know, OG trying to score stack, and then the counter strat came in. And now, I don't know what Nudo's doing, but just kind of just getting wrecked. OG keeping principled, though. Gotta like it. He's down, he's getting camped, a lot of focus, lane swap, because bot's already lost. Lane swapping out into this arena, second clear. This, like, it's really hard to break down the strategy, especially if you don't understand exactly like what's going on in comms and the specific team stuff. Because now, like, the game state looks completely collapsed, but Nouns is just super, super far ahead. So we got level 5 on the Hoopa. That's really all you need. Like, Serena's just waiting. Serena's waiting, like, hey, come on, we're going to go grab those bees, and then you rotate me down, and everything is going to be looking good. Level 4 on the Blissey. That is depressing. Level 5 on the Snorlax. Mr. Mime is level 8, guys. Mr. Mime is actually the carry. Actually, what? Okay. I'm gonna pause really quick. Did he take camps? Because that's a strat, and I like that strat. No, it looks like he's just level 8 off of raw bot diff and taking all of the Audinos. Like, that's why you pick Mr. Mime. Confusion, can't do anything about it. Really, the only thing that contests the fake out is a Lucario and maybe crowd control from a Mamo and some, like, other weird stuff. But if you have Hoopa out, just like, if you have Hoopa frontlining and then disrupting the enemy team from the secure, Mr. Mime just gets a free day, and then it's over just like that. And now, that's 4 Audinos being taken, setting up into the Bs. Yeah, no wonder Mr. Mime is just that far ahead. Also, it's Bruv HD. I was like, where have I heard that name before? Oh, right, the time I was so high in the solo queue ladder, I was going up against 5 stacks. I waited 11 minutes for this game, go up against a 5 stack, and here's what I have to say about Mr. Mime.
Dude, Mr. Mime's just so nasty. There's nothing you can do about Mr. Mime. And I know this, and I respect it.
What can you do about Mr. Mime? And we can see he's just doing it in the 3s, making it work. Which is also hilarious because all the NPCs that watch trash content creators that don't know what they're talking about are coming in my tier list video saying, you can't put Mr. Mime at S tier, he isn't meta. That means he's not good. No, it's very difficult to play Mr. Mime, high skill cap character. So if you're bad, if you're like trash talking it, yeah, it's because you just don't have the skill and you don't understand the game. But also because my tier list is based on the Pokemon ceiling, where it actually stands. And you can see when Mr. Mime has played well, you put the enemy team so far behind while getting so far ahead, the game is completely lost, especially in coordinated play. And we've seen that happen where it's like, yeah, this is what he does to randoms. He hits level 9 in Dreadnought. This is what he does in pro play. So I'm guessing I gotta give Bruv the upgrade. I was hesitant to be like, wow, I'm gonna respect this guy because he's smurfing on me 5 versus solo, but when you play Mr. Mime for that long and then you do it at Worlds, okay, so Bruv is the OG was taken of Mr. Mime's, and because Mr. Mime is such an outrageously strong Pokemon, we can see, like, what he's accomplishing with this. So, like, yeah, Audinos are just there forever. They're desperately trying to do whatever. Alright, Pikachu, you go and just burn that cooldown. Walk it. Why? Why did they... You can find anyone else in Master Tier, but Pikachu and Retsu, they're terrible. And then here, we can just see, like, again, complete collapse. Bot got gapped, bot lost. The Hoopa, Mr. Mime, just infinitely stronger than the Blissey and Snorlax. Also, I guess it really says something, like, when you put 2 of the weakest players, like Retsu and Pikachu, on supports, and then they just also can't express support mechanics. Like, maybe earlier on, like, you know, last year or the first couple months of the game, it's like, yeah, you can get away with that. You know, you just put your weakest player on Hoopa, you can still win the game. But now, like, when you have people expressing strong Hoopa play and incredible Mr. Mime play to make the Serena OP, that's it. But now, we can also just see, like, NA, stupidity, greed. Okay, invade, decent invade. Scoring right here, does absolutely nothing. The 12 attack from the attack weight, the extra little bit of experience, like, okay, no, 10 attack, or 22 attack, because he's also getting experience from the level. Everything's collapsed here. OG's at half. They have tempo. This is going to be late to the fight, and now we can see Mr. Mime is level 9. So, doing everything wrong. They're not playing like a team. The team has collapsed. And that's because they just suck, and they're getting carried by OG this far into World. So, I guess maybe and then Mr. Mime uses Unite, game's over. Like, gets in the back line. Good job, Serena, your score mattered. OG trying to salvage something unsalvageable. And yeah, like, if 2 people died, OG has, like, that 1v3 power-up punch steal chance, but until then, nah. And then we can see, like, Sylveon just... What can Lucario do to Sylveon, especially a power-up punch Lucario? Like, you gotta see the teams in the game state, man. Ah, it's so sad. But also, Sylveon just he's got that level 8. Has a Unite, if you ever choose to use it, but you want to use that at Rotom. And now this is like full stacked Trevenant because they got the jungle carries. 2v1 top, you bullied the most powerful player. My initial thought was like, man, I really would not want to play competitive Pokemon Unite if OG is not on my team, because it means at some point you're going up against OG and getting clapped. Or you dedicate all the resources and you shut it down. So this is one of those things where people are like, oh, you talk so much shit, Verlisify, why don't you have a 5s team? Because this is what would happen. I would go top, I would either win my top or get camped out, and then bot loses the 3v4, where they have the 4. And then, yeah, then everything just kind of destabilizes. So 1-1-3, still incredibly volatile all these, like, months, this year later. So that's what I mean, like, okay, cool, you power punch for an objective. But that Rotom doesn't get anyone ahead. Well, it gets OG was ahead, but it doesn't get the team less behind. At least Serene and Dragonite found level 9s and stuff. It's like, the weird thing is, like, the experience and levels kind of looking interesting, but that's also at, like, just the complete sacrifice of Blissey and Snorlax to have level 10 fully stacked Trevenant, whatever happened bot lane, and maybe that Mr. Mime also has specs because it knows it can get away with score specs or something. So even though, like, the levels look kind of close, it's not good right here. So yeah, Rotom, Lucario finishing up his stacks, Pika Diff just kind of going in, not really getting anything done. I'm gonna pause a lot because there's a lot to break down with my theory on the game and how it's executing. So Nouns Esports, the winning team, executing a lot of thoughts I've had. You know, I want to try half jungle clears to get the level 4 Sylveon. I was talking about this back in, like, January. I don't even know. Maybe I theoried that a bit earlier as well. Whereas, like, Sylveon just such a good Pokemon that if you can find any way to getting it level 4 and snowballing advantage through, like, really good pathing, I didn't play on 5, so I didn't have the opportunity to really lab that out. Then yeah, you're probably just winning. Mr. Mime in the bot lane makes the 1-1-3 uncontestable. Hoopa's a must pick, and then you put into some kind of carry. Serena's strong right now, fill that in, and then whoever doesn't instantly die to OGwastaken, boom, now you have a world beater team. Easy. And then see the Hoopa showing up. Hoopa's just map rotation, infinitely better than Snorlax. So what I was saying is, like, my thought on Snorlax is you run it to 2-1-2 to counter the 1-1-3, and then just kind of, like, really draw the jungle, force your jungle into the, making it a 1-0-3 or 2-0-3 or something. And Snorlax's tackle is really strong. Snorlax's tackle is one of the best secures in the game. So what you do is you let him get the first score, and then you have to send Snorlax top with Lucario. Lucario gets to do his scoring, all his things, and then Snorlax tackle steals away the A-Palms, no more stacks, and then that's when you can, like, set up rotations and stuff, or have the Snorlax maybe give up a camp, an extra score to then support, knock out their jungle, find extra scores, all this other stuff. And here's where the game just gone. Trevenant with the incredible play. Now, I don't, like, it's also one of those things where, like, okay, how, quote-unquote, incredible is that play when, God, Pika Diff and Retsu look like veteran tier players. Like, it's not hard to land a 4-man Trevenant ult when you're getting grouped up into Mr. Mime and stuff. But it's also still impressive to actually, like, land the 4-man Trevenant knockup. And why run Power Punch? So you don't get so you don't get crowd control, so you have the unstoppability baked in. What happens? Lucario just gets clapped still. So that's unfortunate on the diff. And now, like, Trevenant's out there 1v4, 1v5ing. Does have a little bit of support from the Hoopa Unbound, but, like, that's what a full stack Trevenant will do, and then that's where things get terrifying. Oh, Pika Diff, look at you go. Amazing. And then, yeah, it's Mr. Mime. Even though, like, they had some supports there, just kind of, like, chilling, trying to go for the Dreadnought, like, Mr. Mime is ahead and does a lot of damage. So it will just have that hard secure on the burst for the Dreadnought flip, and it looks like they're finally breaking bot. Also, like, the crazy thing is, like, the strategy I was bringing to early Pokemon Unite as I was just watching, like, Score Shield and Lost Stupidity and Score Meta and all that. I was like, no, how about you don't take bot, and then you use that advantage where, like, they just don't see another Audino for the entire game. Because the strategy, like, oh, you want to break bot as fast as possible so they don't have Flux Zone, and then they lose Dreadnought. Or you get 3 levels ahead by just farming Audino's bot for 5 minutes. Like, Pika, what are you doing? He looks like a lost child, and I think he is. And now, yeah, the game's over. Like, at this point, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, but Zapdos. No, Zapdos is not strong enough to make up for this gap we are witnessing. And that's generally like what happens when 1-1-3 goes down, which goes back to why I haven't had a competitive team, because like I said, like they always just fall apart. I would have my Cramorant like match the Lucario, not give up too many scores, break Focus Sash, break his passive. I would get ganked, so it'd be a 1v2 top lane. I still like steal some bees and get some secure in there, only down, no, not bad. And then like bot's just gone. And like, how did you lose bot lane 4v3? And you know, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, the 1-1-3 is outrageously volatile. You would think it isn't because of like shared experience kind of balancing that out, but no. Like that's how you get the non-jungling Mr. Mime to have Unite at Dreadnought. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, so that's why I never made a competitive team and why everything kind of folded, because couldn't find elite players to make the 1-1-3 work. Too much ego, too many players that won, like they were just copying meta. They're like, well, this is what everyone else does. That's not how you innovate. That's not how you get ahead. And if you're just not as good as the 1-1-3 and you're just copying, now you're only falling further behind as you're losing strategy. Their practice is better, and then you have zero development. And I was trying to make this clear to the team, but then too much ego got in the way, too many bad picks got in the way, and then could just never find any elite players. I had the effective Pika and Retsu just losing every game while I'm struggling top or getting camped out, because that's all they had to do. All they had to do was go, oh, Verlis? Okay, send everyone top. We could win anyone else, because he's the only one that matters on the team. Yeah, so now we're just gonna watch Zapdos fall apart. And here's the thing where it's like, bruh, I've already said they collapsed. They are not playing like a team. Look at who here's how you can tell who's playing like a team. Where's the team? 1 versus 4. You have the deathballing Hoopa, Mr. Mime, Trevenant, Sylveon. You have Nudo just inting, so like Nudo's bad. Cool. And then like their Sarina, and then like their Sarina just so much more ahead that he can actually go out and trade wreck Lucario. Sad for OG. See, now they have like their Unite. See, now they can turn it. It took everything to like get this, and it's like, oh man, wait, red has the advantage. It looks like they're going to turn around. Dragonite just needs to land a really strong Hyper Beam into Snorlax support, and they flip that. No, Trevenant uses Unite, and then Sarina comes back, and now they just pop up to full health. Kratos trying. It's just down, and then Blissey. Blissey has Bliss Assist. So that's what happens when like your Serena runs through 4 people to not get the execute. I guess Blissey maybe got picked out early? What happened? Like, the only reason you run Blissey, alright, so like Sylveon getting flanked, Blissey not checking the bush. Oh no, that's what happened. So I'm just on Blissey watch and might need to like use the mini map. So Hoopa unites in. Oh wow, yeah. What? Oh, this is Worlds. This is why I shit on everyone where I'm like, the scene is underdeveloped. There's not good players. Like, most of the players, even in 5s, aren't elite. They just play 5s. And because the ladder is so stupid and, like, you know, there's no split between solo queue rankings and 5-stack rankings, all you have to do is just play 5s, and then you float. And then all you need to do is find 4 people that have enough free time to enter tournaments. That was another big problem. Getting 4 other people, not even good people, just 4 people to play enough to practice and then actually compete. You didn't need skill, you just needed 4 people, and then finding 4 competent elite level players, pretty much impossible, and ended up being impossible in my experience. And I only want to play to be the best. I'm like, I know I have Worlds caliber in me, and if I can get the team around it as well, yeah, this is me here. Not instead of IX Gaming, unless, if we have, okay, theoretically, the dream team, I have OG, also I'm not like banned by the Pokemon Company for my statements, which I probably am if Ren gets banned, even though Ren is far more like actually toxic and hateful than me, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think I make it in. Either way, like if I get OG, me, D-Lies, 2 other crazy players, this is us here instead of IX, and it doesn't look like Blissey not checking the bush, getting flanked by the Sylveon, and then just inting. Blissey is not a flanker! Blissey needs to be behind the carry. I guess like Dragonite jumping in was the play and trying to rush it in, but then Mr. Mime just set up the barrier and kept out your carry. And then there was like no comms, there was no calls, and Blissey just walked it in, died with Unite. And now, like, we don't have it to where, like, oh, Blissey comes in, unites on the Sarina, knocks up 3 people. Or, like, the only reason you run Blissey is so Blissey Dragonite is a thing. Blissey's up, but instead of kiting, like, Dragonite's just dying here. I don't think that Blissey Dragonite flips it 2v5. Like, see, like, just Retsu's so late. Oh, I just noticed that. Why is he running EXP share? Like, that's just terrible. I give it on the Hoopa, but I'm just like, nah, there's a reason why Mr. Mime doesn't have it. But I guess if your plan is to just lose bot and then try to scale to where you have the most upgraded moves on Blissey, just taking over to level 11 on that, I guess. But like, okay, what does level 13 Dragonite do into that team? Actually still even. There wasn't like a level 14 or a level 15 gap with the Blissey Unite because all their Unites are burned and they're kind of low. That maybe has some kind of like weird flip interactions if Sarina and Trevenant aren't Giga Fed. Like what you can do is you can kill Sylveon, you can kill Hoopa here, you can maybe KO Mr. Mime, and then Trevenant Sarina are unkillable and just like wipe you. But I don't know if that stalls. But like what you need to do is like you have Snorlax just int it because Pika Diff already ints, and then you have Dragonite back off, receive the Blissey ult, and then maybe something happens. Now, Noun has been spooking me all game because they just let the Blissey sit there. Like this happened at Dreadnought when second Dreadnought with Mr. Mime getting the secure on it. It was like Blissey Snorlax just there hitting the Dreadnought, and they didn't burst out the weakest characters in the game. They just decided to flip it with Sylveon, Sarina, Trevenant, Mr. Mime. Like, there's a 1% chance you lose that, and the game is also still over regardless because like people are spawning, the points are bad. They just have such a thing that they beat you in your base and score 500 without Zapdos. But yeah, game is over. Like, this is it. You don't need to watch the last minute 20. They're already up in scores. If one scores, they, like, defend. Yeah, and everyone's too far behind, and the game is just ugly. Like, okay. Also, at some point, I saw, like, Pika Diff, you know, use the shield, X speed, and push them into his flux zone. But that didn't do anything. Like, that's another really big problem, is, like, you run the Snorlax to, like, counter stacking in the 1-1-3, potentially. But then Pika would just, like, use X speed with block, but then he'd push the enemy team away from his team and get 0 value. It is like he just watched a Spraggles video for the first time as a vet player and went, wow, I'm going to copy that. Even though it's all trash information. It's just junk food. So, yeah, now they get to do it. Retsu, I don't even know the point. I guess there's a point there because now, you know, it's within 300. So, kill Sylveon, pick up all the points, and then you have 30 seconds to win a team fight, but that's never happening. Like, there's the try. But there's, like, no shot. Like, you give up top. You don't even, like, risk it. Hoopa's defending. Hoopa does not have Unite, but Hoopa can just, like, swap the goals around. So it's like, oh man, where are they going to push? Boop, show up. And here, again, like the game states to where it's like 509 was 321. So I guess the Retsu score does matter a bit, and there's nothing else to do except for die, so fair play. But like, yeah, okay, so you give top. Now you can also give bot. You can give a score here, or like one of those. Like, let's say 4 people push top, and then one tries to like sneak the 100. All right, you just send 5, you beat the 4, and then it's 509 to 421 because of that. So it's not as bad, but I mean, like, in theory, if they can actually, like, score and win. Because, like, okay, 180, kind of close and flippable. But now, like, see, they're respawning, they're coming in. Mr. Mime has Unite. They're trying to score, and then, like, that's just why it was over. Now the gap is just too fat. And then Trevenant has Unite. It's like, the thing is, it just came down to loose play, because they didn't KO the Blissey, so Blissey got to score some, which made it so weird. They were trying to, like, flip Zapdos with supports around and stuff, and then they all didn't get their score. Trevenant got the score, got KO'd, weird stuff happened. So yeah, like, it looks a lot closer than it was. And I guess like some kind of god shenanigans, like maybe if OGwastaken is on the extreme speed and just runs it through him. or you do like a weird 3-2 split. You fake it, you bait it, you score 100 bot, and then you score like 80 mid. I don't know. Like, yeah, there's like the weirdest angle if you're not this far behind, and you were also at a bit more points to work off of. Yeah, like we just saw a lot of bad, and that's current competitive Pokemon Unite. I will give the props to Nouns Esports, mostly because Bruv is insane, and then like they showed real strategy. They showed real strategy. They didn't show, like, there's so many weird things. Again, like so many weird things and weird ways I break down like the undeveloped bad players in top competitive scene, because like it's just nonsense. So we're like, we saw kinda loose care for the objectives, kinda loose care on the scoring. That could also just be like you're deep in the tournament at this point and you have the game already. Like you have the 1 game buffer and you're also like feeling like this game can't be lost. So you want to preserve mental. You don't want to like go 110% and burn yourself out as you move into finals and stuff. So fair right there. And like also like Trevenant just got ahead and stuff. So like I don't know what skill expression I saw outside of Bruv HD taking over 9 and Sylveon jungle countering into OGwastaken. But then like, yeah, the rest of the team comp's just too good, where it doesn't matter how bad your Trevenant is, even though it seemed like pretty solid Trevenant to land 4-man knockups and have good positioning and zoning. So Trevenant was competent too. Like I'm going, it's weird. I have to give my rare praise. Like the entire team on Nouns looks good. So we got all that going on, and yeah, like it just kind of gets to the point where if you play it better, there was 4 people on screen for Nouns when there was 1 for others. And like, wow, look at all that, like all the shields and all the fat healing and stuff, and still wasn't enough to make it through. Almost looking like a pack before Score Shield got nerfed, and then it just kind of gets shredded through and defended 2v5, and then like people spawn, and that's just the game. So things are weird. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.